Ever feel that, like, nagging sense of overwhelm at work? Like you're always juggling a million things, but
Yeah.
never quite getting ahead?
Oh, tell me about it.
Well, today we're going to deep dive into this Harvard Business Review article from, get this, 1974.
1974?
Yeah, called Management Time. Who's Got the Monkey?
Uh,
And I know what you're thinking, 1974, really?
yeah.
But trust me, this article is like a time capsule of seriously timeless wisdom,
That's true.
especially when it comes to, understanding where our time actually goes at work.
It's amazing how relevant this article still is after all these years. Like, they use the super insightful metaphor of monkeys to represent tasks or problems that kind of get passed around.
Right.
Once you grasp that concept, you start to see these monkeys everywhere.
Oh, they're everywhere. So let's talk monkeys.
Let's do it.
The article kicks off with this really vivid scene, like you can totally picture it.
Yeah.
Managers just walking down the hallway, just doing their thing, when suddenly this subordinate, his name is Jones, pops up with a problem.
Yeah, and right away you see this, like, subtle shift in responsibility happening.
Right.
Jones, he knows enough about the problem to get his manager involved, but not quite enough to, like, actually solve it himself.
Yeah.
You know, he kind of presents the issue, maybe even throws out a couple initial ideas, but ultimately the responsibility for finding the solution, it starts to, like, shift.
Totally shifts.
Yeah.
And the manager, wanting to be helpful, and probably feeling a little obligated,
Of course.
agrees to think it over.
Classic.
And poof,
Yeah.
just like that.
There it is.
The monkey has leaped from Jones's back onto the manager's.
It's amazing, isn't it? Like, Jones has not only successfully delegated his task,
Totally.
but he's also, like, secured a promise of a progress report. He's basically turned his manager into his own personal problem solver.
Ugh, it's the worst.
But
But we've all been there,
Yeah.
right? But here's the thing. This isn't just some, one-off thing with Jones.
right.
The article, it goes on to show just how sneaky these monkeys can be. They find, like, all these different ways to jump onto a manager's back.
Absolutely. Like, take Johnson, for instance. He goes and creates this super detailed memo, right? It outlines a problem, but he very conveniently leaves out any recommendations.
Oh, so crafty.
So the manager's left to grapple with what to do next.
It's like, here's the problem, you deal with it.
Exactly. The monkey's just sitting there, patiently waiting to be fed.
Oh, they're so patient. Then there's Smith. He submits this proposal.
Uh-huh.
But of course, it needs the manager's approval before anything can move forward.
Classic.
So guess what? It lands on the manager's desk.
Yep. Another monkey demanding attention.
Just another monkey. And we can't forget Reed, right? The new hire.
Full of enthusiasm,
So eager,
ready to contribute.
but stuck waiting on the manager for, like, clear objectives and direction.
It's a different kind of monkey, right?
It is.
It's not a specific task or problem, but it's that responsibility of providing guidance and clarity. Like, that monkey sitting on the manager's back whispering, "Tell me what to do. Tell me what to do."
the direction monkey.
The direction monkey. And the thing is, they're often disguised as, like, enthusiasm and initiative. So sneaky.
So tricky. So the pattern here, it's pretty clear. In each
Yeah.
of these scenarios, the problem gets presented as this, like, shared responsibility.
Right.
So for a little while, the monkey can, comfortably straddle both of their backs,
Right, just hanging out.
chilling.
Yeah.
But inevitably, with a little nudge and a well-placed helpless look, that monkey makes its way over to the manager's side.
Every time.
It's like clockwork.
Hmm.
So now picture this. Our manager is drowning in a sea of monkeys.
Oh, no.
They can't focus on their own work, let alone make any progress on, the important projects.
Right.
It's this constant cycle of just, like, putting out fires and juggling priorities while the team gets increasingly frustrated with, like, the bottleneck.
It's a vicious cycle. The more the manager tries to catch up, the more they fall behind.
It's true. And the article, it really drives this point home with this kind of funny anecdote about, this manager comes in on a Saturday,
Oh, no.
determined to catch up, and they look out the window, and what do they see?
Don't tell me.
Their subordinates, enjoying a leisurely round of golf.
Oh, my God.
This is huge wake-up call. They've become their subordinate's employee.
It's a class.
Talk about a reality check. And it's this moment of clarity, that finally forces the manager to, like, really take action
Right.
and address the root cause of this whole monkey madness.
They got to do something.
But the question is, How do you actually wrestle control from an entire troop of, like, mischievous monkeys? What are the strategies to prevent them from taking over your entire workday?
Well, that's where the real, meat of the article comes in. It's not just about identifying these monkeys, right?
Right.
It's about learning how to manage them effectively. So we're going to dig into some practical techniques for setting expectations, delegating well, and, really empowering your team to own their work.
It sounds like monkey management isn't just a cute metaphor. It's like a legit, crucial skill
It is.
for anyone who wants to, like, reclaim their time and create a much more productive work environment.
Absolutely.
But before we dive into those strategies,
Yeah.
let's unpack how these monkeys actually get on our backs in the first place.
Good point.
The subtle dynamics at play.
Right. It's not always a conscious thing, right? Like sometimes it's a subconscious pattern that we need to become more aware of.
Totally. So let's break it down.
Okay.
The article outlines some common scenarios where these monkeys make their move.
Okay.
We've already kind of touched on a few, but let's go back and really dissect them. Because, understanding your enemy is the first step to winning the battle.
Exactly.
Right.
Absolutely. Think back to Jones, our first monkey smuggler.
Right.
He went to his manager with a problem. She tossed out a couple of ideas, but then what happened?
What did happen?
There's this subtle shift in his demeanor, a hesitation in his voice, like he's implying that the next move is up to the manager. Oh, I see it.
Yeah, like he's saying, I've done my part, now it's your problem.
I brought it to your attention.
Exactly. And the manager just takes the bait without even realizing it.
Hook, line, and sinker.
And it's not just limited to, like, face-to-face interactions either. Remember Johnson and his beautifully crafted memo?
Oh, Johnson, the master of passive delegation. He outlines the problem, provides data, background, whatever, but leaves out any actual recommendations.
It's like he's saying, here's all the info, you figure it out.
Good luck. The monkey's hidden between the lines just waiting to spring out.
Exactly.
And then there's Smith, who takes a different approach. Polished proposal, ready to go, but
it needs the manager's approval.
of course.
Classic approval dependency. Smith's making his progress completely dependent on the manager's sign-off, putting the monkey right on the manager's desk. The proposal's just another to-do list item.
Another hungry monkey.
And then there's Reed, our eager beaver new hire, full of enthusiasm, ready to contribute,
But stuck waiting for direction. The monkey takes a different form here. It's not a specific task, but the responsibility to give guidance and clarity. That monkey's whispering in the manager's ear, tell me what to do, tell me what to do.
It's like a whole different breed of monkey, a direction monkey. And they're often disguised as initiative and enthusiasm.
Exactly. It's easy to think they're taking ownership when they're really just waiting for you to point the way.
So tricky. So these monkeys are masters of disguise, using all kinds of tactics to get on our backs. Now that we know their tricks, how do we stop them?
That's where the article's strategies come in. It's not about becoming monkey repellent, but learning how to manage those interactions to keep monkeys where they belong with their rightful owners.
Okay, so let's get into those strategies. The article talks about next moves. What does that mean in monkey management?
Next moves is about shifting the initiative back to the subordinate. You don't take the monkey, you just make sure the next step in solving the problem is taken by the person who brought it to you.
So you're not dismissing the problem or refusing to help, but guiding the conversation so they take ownership.
Exactly, like our manager's weekend epiphany. He had one-on-ones, not to dictate solutions or take back tasks, but to strategically shift the initiative.
I'm seeing how this works. Instead of just passively listening, he guides the conversation so the subordinate leaves with a next step and a sense of ownership.
Exactly. They might analyze the problem, brainstorm, but the monkey stays firmly on the subordinate's back. They agree on a course of action, a deadline, and schedule a follow-up, an appointment with the monkey, so to speak.
I love that, an appointment with a monkey. It really makes it concrete.
It's brilliant, right? By scheduling that time, the manager flips the script. They're not waiting for updates. They're actively managing and holding the subordinate accountable.
It's a subtle but powerful shift. The manager's waiting on the subordinate, not the other way around.
And think about the manager's time now. More discretionary time to focus on their tasks, think strategically, even take a break.
Win-win. The manager gets control of their time, and the subordinate builds skills and takes ownership.
Exactly. It creates a more productive, fulfilling environment for everyone. But it's not just about individual monkeys. It's about a system to prevent them running rampant in the first place.
Okay, so how do we build a monkey-proof work environment? What systems or strategies can we put in place?
That's where the article's levels of initiative come in. It's a framework for how much autonomy someone takes addressing a problem.
So like a spectrum of responsibility, waiting to be told at one end and taking initiative at the other.
You got it. And the article's clear. Managers should avoid the first two levels, waiting to be told or asking what to do when interacting with their bosses or the company system.
So it's about taking ownership, anticipating needs, making recommendations, and acting, even if it means keeping your boss in the loop.
Precisely. It's about shifting from reactive to proactive, from a passive recipient to an active driver of solutions.
This levels of initiative thing, it's really interesting.
It's a really powerful concept.
Yeah, like a roadmap for becoming more effective employee.
Exactly, no matter what your role is.
Totally.
Yeah.
And it connects so well with that other key idea from the article, completed staff work.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
This sounds kind of formal, though.
It does.
What exactly does completed staff work involve?
So basically, it means before you even bring a problem to your manager or a colleague, you've already done the work, the thinking. Like you've gathered all the info, looked at potential solutions, and ideally, you're coming to the table with, a recommendation, not just the problem.
So instead of, hey, we have a problem with X,
Right.
it's more like, we have a problem with X, and here's some possible solutions. I think we should go with Y.
Exactly. You're showing a initiative, ownership, you're solution-oriented.
Right.
And that not only makes you a valuable team member, but it helps stop those monkeys jumping around in the first place.
I can see how that would completely change meetings for the better.
Oh, yeah.
Instead of everyone just, like, dumping their monkeys.
Right. Monkey-free meetings.
You have a much more productive discussion.
For sure. And speaking of changing the game, the article has some really practical advice.
Okay.
In the form of 5 rules for the care and feeding of monkeys.
Okay, hit me with those rules. Rule number 1, monkeys should be fed or shot. Now, before anyone calls PETA, what does that mean, like in the real world?
Don't worry, no monkeys were harmed.
Good.
It's about making decisions.
Okay.
Every problem, every monkey, you got to address it. Either find a solution, feed it, meaning take action and move forward, or decide it's not worth it and shoot it, discard it, find a different approach.
So no more letting those monkeys just chill in our inboxes, hoping they'll go away on their own.
Exactly. Got to be proactive, intentional.
Love it. Rule number 2, keep the monkey population manageable.
Yes. Boundaries.
Like setting limits on how many monkeys we can handle.
Exactly. We only have so much time and energy. We can't juggle a zoo of monkeys. It's about being selective, focusing on what's truly important.
Makes total sense. Rule number 3, monkeys are fed by appointment only.
This is key for time management.
I like it.
Taking control of your schedule, stopping those monkeys from constantly interrupting you.
Yes.
Instead of them running the show, you schedule specific times to deal with them.
So no more monkeys barging into your office whenever they feel like it.
More. It's about boundaries, expectations.
Love it. Rule number 4, pretty straightforward. No feeding monkeys by email.
This one's important.
Oh, this one's so real. So many monkeys live in my inbox.
It's a trap. Email is like a breeding ground for miscommunication and delays.
It really is.
For good monkey management, you need direct communication, face-to-face, a phone call.
Forces you to be clear and concise. No more monkeys getting lost in the email jungle.
Exactly. And finally, rule number 5, every monkey needs a scheduled next feeding time and a clear level of initiative.
Okay, break that down for me.
It's about accountability, follow-through. You set a specific time to revisit the issue, agree on who's taking the next step, and that stops the monkeys from, falling through the cracks.
These 5 rules are so simple yet so powerful.
I know, right?
Like a guide to reclaiming our time and sanity at work.
Exactly. And they can be applied anywhere, any role, any level, manager, team member, CEO. These principles can make you more effective, efficient, less stress.
Love it.
Love it.
So we're wrapping up our deep dive into monkeys and management. What's the main takeaway for our listeners?
Getting rid of monkeys isn't about avoiding responsibility.
Right.
It's about building a more productive, fulfilling workplace where everyone takes ownership, contributes their best.
I love that.
It's understanding that delegation dance, learning to manage those interactions so everyone benefits.
You've given us a lot to think about.
I hope so.
But more than that, you've given us tools and strategies we can actually use right away.
That's the goal.
It is. So start paying attention to those monkeys, everyone.
Yeah.
Notice when they try to jump on your back. and use that next moves framework to guide them back to their rightful owner.
Exact.
And those 5 golden rules for monkey management.
Print them out, put them on your wall, live by them.
Yes. Think about your own workload. Are there any monkeys hiding there?
There probably are lurking in the shadows.
What's one little step you can take today to shift that initiative back where it belongs?
It's a journey, one step at a time.
Absolutely. We'd love to hear your thoughts, your experiences. Share your monkey management triumphs and challenges with us on social media using #MonkeyBusiness. Let's all banish those monkeys for good. This levels of initiative idea, it's really clicking with me.
A powerful concept, right?
It is like it's a roadmap for becoming a more, effective, empowered employee, no matter what you do.
Exactly.
Yeah. And it fits in so well with, you remember that other key idea from the article, completed staff work?
Oh yeah, completed staff work. That's a good one.
Now that sounds kind of formal.
It does, a little bit.
What exactly does that involve? Like, what is that?
Basically, it means that before you go to your manager, even a colleague with a problem, you've already, thought it through.
Yeah.
You've got the info, you've looked at possible solutions, and ideally you're coming with a recommendation, not just a problem.
So it's not, hey, we have a problem with X.
Right.
It's, hey, we have a problem with X, and here are some things we could do. I recommend we try Y.
Exactly. You're taking initiative, showing ownership, you're solution-oriented.
Right.
And that makes you valuable. Plus, it helps keep those monkeys from jumping around in the first place.
It would totally change meetings.
Oh, yeah.
Instead of everyone just like monkey dumping.
Right. Monkey-free zone.
You'd have a much more focused, productive conversation.
Absolutely. And speaking of changing things up, the article has some really practical advice.
Okay, I'm listening.
In the form of, get this, 5 rules for the care and feeding of monkeys.
All right, let's hear them. Rule number 1.
Rule number 1, monkeys should be fed or shot.
Now, before we get PETA on our case,
Yeah.
what does that even mean?
No monkeys were harmed in the making of this advice.
Good to know.
It's about being decisive.
Okay.
Every problem, every monkey, you got to address it. Either solve it, feed it, meaning take action, move forward, or you decide it's not worth it and shoot it. Let it go, find a different way.
So no more monkeys hanging out in my inbox just hoping they'll vanish.
Exactly. Proactive, intentional.
I can get behind that. Rule number 2.
Keep the monkey population manageable.
Boundaries, right.
Boundaries. It's like setting limits on how many monkeys you can actually handle.
We only have 2 hands.
Exactly. We have limited time, energy. You can't juggle a million monkeys. Gotta be selective, focus on what matters.
Makes sense. All right, what's rule number 3?
Monkeys are fed by appointment only.
Now we're talking time management.
That's it. You take control of your schedule. You stop those monkeys from interrupting you all the time.
Yes.
They don't run the show, you do. Schedule specific times to deal with them.
So no more monkeys just barging in whenever.
No more. Boundaries, expectations key.
I like it. Rule number 4, hit me.
No feeding monkeys by email.
This one is so true.
Right.
So many monkeys trying to sneak into my inbox.
It's a trap. Email, it just breeds miscommunication, delays.
Worst.
You want good monkey management. Direct communication, face-to-face, hop on a call.
It makes you be clear, concise, no more monkeys lost in the email abyss.
Exactly. And finally, rule number 5, every monkey needs a scheduled next feeding time and a clear level of initiative.
Okay, break that one down.
It's all about accountability and follow-through. You set a time to come back to the issue, agree on who's doing what next, stops those monkeys from disappearing into the void.
These 5 rules, they're so simple, but so powerful.
They really are.
It's like a guide to reclaiming our time, our sanity at work.
That's the goal.
It is. So as we wrap up our deep dive, what's the key thing you want listeners to take away?
Getting rid of monkeys isn't about just, passing the buck. It's about making a better workplace where everyone feels good about taking ownership, doing their best work.
That's what we want.
It's understanding how delegation works, managing it so everyone wins.
So much to think about. But even more importantly, you've given us real tools, strategies to actually use.
That's what I was hoping for.
So everyone start paying attention to those monkeys.
They're sneaky.
They are. Notice when they're trying to jump on your back. Use that next moves thing to steer them back to where they belong.
Exactly.
And those 5 golden rules.
Print 'em, post 'em, live by 'em.
Yes. All right, everyone. Think about your own workload. Any monkeys lurking around.
Oh, there's got to be at least one.
Well, it's one thing you can do today to shift the initiative back where it should be.
It's a process, one step at a time.
Absolutely. We want to hear your monkey stories, your triumphs, your challenges. Share them with us on social media using hashtag monkeybusiness. Let's all get rid of those monkeys once and for all.